This is my final project. After 12 years of teaching, I've often kind of closed each year thinking about homework and assessment in my class. And it keeps coming back to, is the quote unquote old school way of book questions and supplemental worksheets truly most effective for my students to get them to grow in their learning? So after a lot of thinking for the last few years, I finally sat down and have taken some time and looked at advantages and disadvantages of online math homework and assessments. And then I also have studied the products. I'm in a good situation at my current district to where we are potentially going to choose a product and implement it into our district. So I was hoping to learn quite a bit about what's available for our students and hope to guide our district in the correct decision. So in this presentation, we're going to go through my thoughts, some disadvantages, and then look at the products and just kind of in the end conclude with a good discussion about what I think is best. So initially, there are many reasons why I feel potentially online assessment is going to be beneficial for both the students and the teachers. Let's go through the bullets here. The first thing that I really like about it is instant feedback for students. Way too often, if a student's working on a question from the book and they don't understand how to do it or they don't get it correct, how do they know if they're doing the questions in the right manner? So a lot of these systems will right away tell the student right or wrong and then provide tutorials or hints depending on what is needed for that student. Growth tracking for teacher and students with student learning objectives, SLOs being a big demand in my district. The need for growth is always required for evidence for us teachers. I think the third bullet's huge for many teachers out there. These types of uh, online components provide great interactive questions, much better than any textbook. Number four there, Slater.com is a website that I know my students use when it comes to bookwork. So I'm hoping that this system cuts down on students copying just to get the work done. These systems that I've researched, almost all of them provide extra help for students if they need it. If the students are willing to take that next step to receive extra help, they have that option. The next one for teachers, especially, this saves a ton of time in regards to grading. Ability to track students through these online dashboards or learning management systems. And then the last bullet point is, I think if you're a high school teacher in Ohio, you know the rigor of these Ohio Air end of course assessments. So these online products all model the interactive types of questions, the drag and drops, fill in the blank, the interactive graphing that our students need to be able to do. So now we're going to go into some of the potential drawbacks. There could be less thinking for students. And what I mean by that is the students I work with, when they work with an online assessment, because it's online, they have this mindset that they can just click through things and not really take some time and be very innovative. So I am concerned about that. You always are going to have a new learning curve with some new technology. So ease of use and functionality could be a drawback. And then every district has those students that always say, well, I don't have internet in my house, so what are we going to do about that? And then the big thing here is cost. Some of these products can be very expensive, but then there's also some free ones, as we will see in this presentation. The first one I looked at was EdSite. I use EdSite a lot currently. It is free for, like I said, basic use. With the paid version, you get the next thing. So with the paid version, you're able to do a lot more advanced reporting, item analysis, growth reports, student standards. And then the free version, you're still able to align with state standards, still able to look at their question banks, but you definitely do not get the growth reports and some of the individual tracking that you get from the free from the paid version there. Overall, I do like EdSite. Um, I would not say that the questions are exactly like the AIR test, but they're a much better alternative than just your old fashioned textbook. And like I typed on there, they do have all the old AIR tests available for use, and you could do that starting tomorrow. Another free one, or free option, is Edulastic. Edulastic is very comparable to EdSite. I've used Edulastic as well in the classroom. Um, Initially, it seems more intimidating than EdSite, so there is much more of a learning curve. Some of the differences here: Edulastic seems to integrate with more MLSs. However, we use Schoology in my classroom, and they don't integrate with Schoology. And for only $100, you are able to get all of their tracking systems as well. Moving on to some of the big boys, I'll call these. Math Excel for school. This is a Pearson product. So any Pearson textbook that is out there, they have provided interactive questions to be aligned with the textbook, which is a huge advantage for the Pearson product. And then you'll see other products as well. And that's what all these publishers are doing. They're going to these online systems to better provide that bridge, we'll say. And again, all these benefits, you'll see them across the board. Many reports are available. There's so many ways to scaffold students. Essential supplement to support any core curriculum. So that's what they put on their website. This is an essential supplement. It's not a curriculum, it's a supplement. And I got a quote from the company, I couldn't find a price on this. WebAssign is something that I've seen with other districts, and again, this is publisher specific. I've seen it actually more at the college level with helping out with some of my former students. And what's nice about this is they see, from what I can tell, they seem to have a lot more videos and tutorials as compared to at least Math Excel. And what's interesting around here, those bullet points, you as a teacher through WebAssign, you're able to, for each quiz or assignment, kind of have specific setup criteria. So you can restrict the number of submissions for each student. You can give different point values for each question. You can also say how much feedback you want the student to receive if they get it incorrect, how many hints they're allowed to use, and penalty points. Now, these bullet points, what you're able to do right in here, this is very unique, and that's why I was very intrigued with WebAssign. However, when I tried getting a quote and getting a login, because we do not have any of these products from this publisher, it was very restrictive, and I've yet to have been successful in acquiring that information. Kind of the one that I've heard a lot about because our district uses McGraw-Hill and Glencoe is ALEX. It stands for Assessment and Learning in Knowledge Spaces. The big difference with ALEX as compared to all these other ones is that students are required, there's no way around this, they're required to take an initial pre-assessment, and then through artificial intelligence, ALEX then develops a specific roadmap for their growth. And after reading a lot of reviews on ALEX from Reddit, the students do not like that at all. The students do not like how they have to take all these pre-assessments and growth checks to determine where their learning is located. And ultimately, that is just students' opinions. But this one is unique because you could have 25 students in your classroom and you could assign the same standard for each student, but they all could receive different questions within that standard because of the level of ability they are at, which as a teacher, that is very intriguing. And again, after trying to reach out, I've yet to receive a quote or any information, but I have read through some of the articles that you'll see on my reference page that ALEX is very expensive. And then one of the last products that I studied was Khan Academy, and I feel like Khan Academy has been around for quite some time. And now what's interesting is it's always been 100% free, but just recently they've provided a paid option for district-wide use. And I went on with Khan Academy. uh, just recently they've allowed districts to buy their district wide use, and again, I'm not sure what that all entails. As far as the district use goes, but I've used this a lot in my classroom just as a supplement, which is kind of the theme of this is how can I become a better teacher by using these online assessments to supplement my curriculum? And I've always felt that Khan has done a great job with the videos and the explanations. And yes, they are dull videos, and I do not use them all the time. However, every now and then, it's always good for students to hear a concept explained in a different manner. I will give them a lot of credit because I've used them a lot here. The development of their website and their types of questions has changed and grown immensely. However, they still have a long way to go to make it fully like an air test. But it is a lot better than just a straight up multiple choice. There are better question formats and different things like that. And ultimately, in the end, after studying all these products and doing a lot of research on the pros and cons of online assessments, there are so many similar characteristics between all the products. They all have item analysis, growth tracking, individualized plan for each student, and it's just all about how they show their data. Essentially, is the differences, and the other big thing is some of these are very textbook specific. As compared to EdSci, Edulastic, and Khan, where it's just very course general as compared to textbook specific. So I'm hoping that our school district can decide on a good product here for the next few years and go from there. And here are the references that I've used throughout the presentation.